You know what? Today's video might stink a little, especially if you're someone who knows they're meant for more. And the reason why I say this is because it doesn't actually take years to change your life. It takes years to finally make up that one real decision, because you've already seen what's possible for you. You've imagined it, you have felt it, and yet you'll keep pulling back at the moment it requires you to fully step in. So now you're stuck in this space. Oh, I could have been that person without actually becoming them. And that right there, that's not confusion. All right? That's you circling on your own potential. So let's talk about that today's video. Let's really dive into it and figure out, okay, what's really going on. Because let's be real. You're not lost. You're just not moving like the version of you you've already decided you are. Right? And this is what I see all the time, especially with people who know they've got more in them. You can see it. You feel it. But you don't stay long enough to become it. Right? Let me tell you where I sat down for years. Right? I didn't start this because I could do it. I started out of curiosity. Someone saw something in me before I saw it myself. And I thought, okay, maybe let's just see how it flows. Like, let's just go with the flow. You know, an opportunity came for me when I was at the church I was at the time. And they were looking for people to support. So they had a deaf person coming to the church, and they were looking for people to come in and support them. So they wanted volunteers, and someone else saw the potential, so I went for it. I started doing the thing. I was enjoying the learning of just learning few signs and having to make someone feel part of the family in the church at the time. And that kept going on, going up the ranks in the different levels. It got to the point where we were now practicing at one time, and the tutor at the time just, we've learned the thing. Now it's time to go and do the thing, to practice what we just learned. And for me, I have to see me practicing than actually physically moving my hands. And when she came past, like, oh, why did you not practice it? In my head, I'm practicing. So I did all the, she didn't get it. So I just thought, I'm dyslexic. So, oh, you're dyslexic? You can't be an interpreter if you're dyslexic. And to me, it's never crossed my mind. It wasn't a thing that this could not be possible. Because by this time, it started off as curiosity, interest. And as I was going and seeing the potential, like, oh, okay, maybe this might be it. So for me at that time, it wasn't that I didn't just hear it. I became that they said, oh, I couldn't be this now. I couldn't be this interpreter that I desired to be, because someone who has like a tutor who's training me to become one is now saying, no, you can't do this. So I became someone who cannot be an interpreter. And I lived in this space for a long time. And I could have been, I'm there thinking, okay, I've already paid for this year now, so I might as well just come and just do this thing, and whatever that is. And I'm watching others do it. And imagining them wow. Feeling the feeling of okay, this can't be me. I can't really do this now, because someone has said I can't. But I never fully stepped into the owning that actually it could be my thing. So I'm like, okay, I just do it as a hobby. I was dancing the idea around it. Okay, this might, maybe, but it wasn't. They said I couldn't, so I just can't then. And then a year went out, and I was so miserable, because when you have that desire or something, but because I'm I've been told this one thing, I'm there imagining and wanting, but I just couldn't. Because of what was said. And I was passing that misery to my loved ones. Because I was coming in like, ugh. You know when you want something, but you can't have it because someone said you can't do it, and then you're believing them, and then you're not acting in that way as someone that cannot have the thing that you want. But you're still drawn to the thing, and you're still there, but you're like, yeah, okay, I guess I can't, but just do it for fun, and blah, blah, blah. That was me. That was it. Because while I was doing the training, I wasn't lacking the ability. I was just agreeing to a version of me that wasn't true. Because someone had said you can't do this, I signed up to that. I said it like, I guess this is how it is then for me. I can't be one. So might as well just be here. And that's the trap. This is the trap. You know, we live to the potential of something for years and still nothing changes. I'm wanting that, thinking, oh man, I could be, but now something has happened. It's now made me think, okay, this can't be my truth anymore. Oh, okay. But the desire is there. I'm dreaming, like, oh man, look at this person flourishing. My colleagues are there, like flying off the shelves and like doing their thing. And for me, nothing was changing. Because thinking about wanting to be an interpreter is not the same thing as becoming an interpreter. Right? Seeing the potential of what could be for me was not the same as actually doing the thing that required me to then be able to do that. So I wasn't building it. I was rehearsing what I was told that I couldn't. I was rehearsing that I was like, someone with me, like me, cannot do this thing. So why are you still here? Without actually being told why you're still here. And this is the thing, we're emotionally attached to the idea of something, but we're not fully available for the responsibility of it. Right? I signed up to someone else's notion, then actually like, okay, what does it actually take for me to be it? What does it actually take for me to start doing the things that is required of me to become that interpreter? Right? So for me, the turning point, the thing that actually changed up for me was when one day, right, Michael Jackson was having his tour here in the UK, and his final tour, and it was called This Is It, and he was being interviewed about it. And then while he was being interviewed, it's like he just said, you know what, this is gonna be my final event, like gonna like big one, blah blah blah, and this is it, and that's why I've called it This Is It. And he just carried on explaining the reasoning for the name of the what do you call it, show. But the word "this is it" landed for me because I was so miserable. I was like, even people around me were like, what? You like, either you like keep going and carry on to be this thing, or you stop and go and find something else to do, because the rest of us are miserable. So this was the conversation my husband and I had to have, because I was just not fully present. And because of my misery, it was having a knock-on effect. I was getting snappy. I was being like not a happy person and doing all those things that I'm like, so he gave me that permission. Look, you don't have to keep going in this misery thinking, should it, like, and think of, yes, this might be my truth. It's okay. Let it go and go and do something else that you truly want to do, and then just let this thing be. So when MJ said that, I just said, you know what, yeah, this is it for me too. I'm going to be that interpreter. And that was it. That was my decision, because I've been circling around these ideas years before that, and because of that thing someone said, I was just like, oh, I was leaning into it. But the moment I said that, so that was my radical decision. Like, I made like this, like, we're doing this, okay? This is it now. It didn't mean that, okay, now that I've said this is it, then it became smooth sailing. It was just me now putting a stake in the ground that I'm doing this. It's like someone who's been circling around the idea of saying, oh, I want to, saying, I'm quitting that smoking, I'm quitting that drinking, I'm going to start going to the gym, whatever that is. That was a radical decision, and I made it, and I said, this is it. And with that decision, with that saying, something inside of me just clicked. I said it. I'm like, okay, this is it. This is not me. Let me try. Let me see what happens. No, this is it. We're doing this. And we did. And that's where everything started from there. Everything started shifting from that moment. All this dancing, because I was now coming from a place of go time. We're doing this thing. So I stopped visiting the idea that I could be one, and I started living it as someone who is. And this is what I truly want us to understand here is that this is not spoken much about. Desire can live with you for years. You can want something and want it and want it and want it for so long until you make it a decision. That's what gives it the movement. Until you say, this is what I want. Because here's the deal. We do not rise to the thing we want. We fall to what we keep reinforcing. I was reinforcing the idea someone told me that I couldn't do this. I was reinforcing the idea that I wasn't good enough to be an interpreter, a qualified interpreter. I was dancing and reinforcing that idea until I decided that I'm going to be that interpreter. Nothing shifted, nothing moved, nothing happened. But when I made that decision, momentum happened. Because now I have a stake in it now. I'm not longer falling for what people have said I could or could not do. I was going with what my desires were. Because sometimes we think that we want something. I want that home, that marriage, that this, that, whatever that is for you. And we're thinking that because we say we want it, means it's going to happen. But if in the back of your mind or in your thoughts, in some way, shape or form, the desire you want that thing is like, maybe people like me don't get this thing, or like, I'm not sure how that. You are falling to that level. Even that's the desire, you want that thing. But if you're thinking it's not possible for someone like you, that's where you're going to land on. Even every day you say, I want this, I want that. Baby, if you're saying that in your mind, like, how though? Are you sure this is possible for me? That's where you're falling to. So it's having the understanding that saying what your desire is, saying what it is that you're wanting, saying what it is that you want to make in your life doesn't mean that because you said it, it is. But when you made that decision that this is it for me, this is going to be whatever that is for you, whatever how you want to say it, you have to make that decision. And making that decision, okay, let's not get it twisted. That means everything's going to be smooth sailing now. Everything's just going to fall in your lap, and everything's just going to work because now you're fully committed and fully decided. What you're doing with that decision is committing to the thing that you want. You're saying that I am committed. I am no longer just dancing around this idea. I'm no longer, what's the word? The going gets hard, I'll just leave, or if this happened, we'll just let it be. No. We are committing to it. We're giving it the time it takes. We're giving it like whatever has to happen. We are now doing that. Right? So that thing that we're keeping on circling, that thing that we're wanting for ourselves, it's just going to keep circling the idea and seeing, imagining, oh man, I'll be so like this and that, until we put that stake in the ground. That version of you that you keep thinking about. Truly, the question I would love for you to ask yourself right now is it possible for you? Is it? Because you already seen what that is. You already know it. Like that's not a question to be asking yourself. Is it possible for you? We've gone past that. The real question now is what do you do to stop the circling from, and then actually decide? That's the question we need to be asking ourselves. What do I need to do right now to stop dancing around the idea of this desire that I want, and actually decide that, you know what, it's my desire and I'm going to do what it takes to get to it? What does that get to look like for you? Because there's only one person that can truly make that decision, and that's yourself. Because people around you do not see what you're seeing, are not going through they only see from their own lens, from their own perspective. It's like saying, this is kind of like an off-point conversation, but I think it resonates here, and it's really important for us to hear this, is that when you want to say whatever your desires is, and you're speaking it to someone who has no concept of the idea, has no reasoning. Say for instance, okay, say you want to be a firefighter. I know, it's an odd example. And you go and then say you go and ask, let's just say your mom. Okay, mommy, I want to be a firefighter. And then she starts giving you advice like, yeah, I don't think it's a good idea, because, this is not or telling you stuff that might make sense, might not make sense, might be relevant, might not be relevant. Wouldn't it be a great idea to go and ask someone who's an actual firefighter and ask them, so what's up? What's going on? Like, how does it roll being a firefighter? What's your day like? Won't you get a better perspective from that person? The same is true for us. We have our desires, and we're speaking to people who have no business in that idea or that desire, or not even have that thing or wanting to work on that thing. And then we're asking them for ideas and saying, oh yeah, I want to do this. What do you think they're going to say? Really? Oh my goodness, I heard people are losing money in that thing. This happened. Oh, this blah 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 blah. And then you start pulling back and you start not doing, because Joe, that has no concept or no idea of what you're doing, just linking up on the fears or whatever, is telling you otherwise. And then you go back circling on the idea. Okay. Maybe I should. I know, I see, right? The economy right now, what's going on? It might not be a thing. It might be this, it might be that. Oh, I know someone who did that thing and they lost this. Oh, now they're like, When we have what it is that we want, we have to be very guarded on who and what we are telling and what the situation is. Or have this bubble or shield around us to be very careful in how we share what we're saying, to block out the noise so that we can be focused in the decision that we're making. Because when I made that decision, it was more kind of like, you remember how you felt when they told you couldn't, and that's wrong. Are you sure you want to move to? And these are people that love you, and they're coming from a place of love because they have seen how much you might have like struggled to do a thing or whatever, and then you're now saying you won. Are you sure? And da da da. So we have to be anchored in ourselves. So whatever it is that we're desiring and we're wanting and we're wanting to do, we also need to do that inner work that is going to support the desire we want. So that when the naysayers are coming in, even if they're disguised from like loved ones or friends or from people like what we're seeing, we're guided in our decisions. Because once you've made that radical decision, now this is where the transformation happens. This is where now it now takes to do the work to now get that desire. And that means that, okay, who are we going to be becoming? Who are we being to now start acting to get to that thing we want? What are the things that we're going to start doing? How do we start creating new neural pathways to ourselves so that we make sure that we are aligned to the decisions and the desires that we're wanting? This is now where the work's at. Saying you want something, fabulous. The decision is made. Now let's go and do what it takes to get us there. And how long does that take? What that looks like. But it's about making sure that we put ourselves in spaces and avenues that will really support us in getting those desires that we want. Okay? I did a video earlier in terms of like when you have those what you want, like how do you guard those things? Spaces, saying things like that. Yeah, that's something that we can then check that video out as well, just to kind of like be mindful. Because sometimes it's not just the naysayers, it might be people that love us and stuff like, but the goal or the main thing is, let's stop dancing around this idea. Let's stop just thinking about it, dreaming about how that would look like or be, and let's just decide to go for it. Let's decide to do the work that requires to get the thing we want. Because at this day and age, there is so much out there that we can start doing to support us to get our desire. That could make it quicker, faster, like further faster than how it used to be. If you can tap into the right resources, the right support to get the things that we want to help us get our desires, the things which we desire for ourselves. Because here's the thing, growth will separate you before it elevates you. Right? The growth, doing the work that requires. And that's why when you see people, when they start off, they have all these cheerleaders, they have all these people like, oh, okay, ideas, great, or whatever, or naysayers, whatever that is. But the journey is very lonely. And that's where you have to really do the work for self. And then when you're elevated, when you've gotten the thing you want, then you see people from the road like, wow, yay! Oh yeah, I remember when you started, I did it, and it like, now they're elevating you. Now you're now in this like a whole different sphere. But that middle bit, that messy middle, that place of calibration and course correction and like how are things flowing and what's going on, can be lonely sometimes. Can be like, okay, I have no idea. Can be heavy and like the struggle, whatever that is. But it's having that understanding that with motion, with that action, the clarity is coming, and as you're going there, you're moving, the clarity will come before you know it. That growth will elevate you. So you might feel lonely. You might feel, people might feel, and you like, people don't get you. All these things are happening. And it doesn't mean you are wrong when all those things are happening. it just might mean that you have outgrown who you were and those situations and those things that were like not serving you anymore. And now it's time to move on to that next level. I am Nene. We do this every single day. Remember that your voice matters and it's your time to use it. Bye for now.